In my day-to-day life, I deal with numbers, and yes, you guessed it, more numbers. I have to crunch the math and decide if what I am looking at is a solid business decision and are we getting a net return on investment that is beneficial to both client and business alike. I also apply this same principle to my everyday purchases, and included in that is anything game or gaming related. I mean, I'm no different than anybody else. I want as much as I can get for the lowest possible price. And this leads me to the Division 2 and more specifically, the Year 1 Pass. You remember the heavily marketed Year 1 Pass, right? Okay, just making sure. Lieutenant BuzzLitebeer reporting for duty, and today I am putting Tom Clancy's The Division 2 Year 1 Pass under the financial microscope. How was it marketed? What was included? And has the current net result met or underwhelmed gamers' expectations as we approach the 4-month mark since the game's release? Every video game reporting agency plastered the Year 1 Pass contents and highlights all over their individual publication sites the very moment the content announcements were made available back in January 2019. In turn, Ubisoft released cleverly crafted marketing splashes at timed intervals leading up to launch, including this Year 1 content trailer that gave a general overview of some of the content along with a short section centered on the Year 1 Pass.
The launch of The Division 2 is only the beginning of our journey. We have an extensive post-launch plan supporting the game for the year to come. This content will be free and accessible for everyone. It all starts shortly after release, with the introduction of TIDAL BASIN, a new challenging faction stronghold held by the Black Tusk. Next up is the launch of Operation Dark Hours, the first 8-player raid in the history of the Division. Team play and coordination will be the key to success. As the year unfolds, we will be releasing 3 new episodes. Episodes are free major content updates with additional narratives and missions, new PvP and PvE modes, as well as 3 entirely new specializations. New threats will rise as the situation in Washington, D.C. evolves. Our first free episode, DC Outskirts Expeditions, will take you to the surrounding areas of Washington to fight for the liberation of the city in 2 additional main missions. The first major update will also introduce a new game mode. Division agents must form an expedition to investigate the fate of a lost convoy, encountering unexpected threats along the way. The second free episode, Pentagon: The Last Castle, will host its own narrative extension with additional main missions and introduce a new experience, as agents will have to storm the Pentagon and unveil the secrets that hide beneath one of America's most iconic locations. The third free episode will close the first chapter of the Division 2 storyline and pave the way for even more content to come. We will also introduce 3 entirely new specializations. Each of them will bring in a new unique signature weapon and skill tree to unlock and master. New endgame specializations will help you redefine your own personal playstyle as you take on new high-level challenges. The Year 1 Pass owners will enjoy 7 days early access to the episodes, instant access to the specializations as they release, a series of 8 classified assignments revealing more about the fall of DC, base of operations projects, more bounty targets, as well as trophies and unique customization items. The Division 2 is an ever-evolving game that we are committed to keep improving upon as we listen to community feedback. There will be vast amounts of varied new content deployed in the coming months. No matter your playstyle, there will always be something new for you to experience. We look forward to seeing you on the streets of Washington, D.C.
In terms of marketing dollars spent, I couldn't put a figure on this media blitz, but it must have been astronomical. At first, players couldn't differentiate the nuances between the differing lingo for the episodes in the Year 1 Pass, and this was further exacerbated by the superbly overly complicated pre-order bundles. Not only were the differing bundle contents confusing and downright vague in terms of what they included, they varied widely between geographic regions. Confusion reigned as Ubisoft scrambled to clarify the differences between the episode DLCs, Year 1 Pass, and the differing pre-order bundles, but eventually it was worked out. DLC would be free of charge to players, but for an additional fee on top of the base game price, they could purchase the Year 1 Pass that would include 7-day early access to Year 1 episodes, narrative content, all 3 of them in total, 8 classified assignments, instant unlocks for the specializations, the Agent Ward outfit, Scout Emote, classified assignment backpack trophies, 1 extra bounty per week, and 1 extra project per day until March 1st, 2020. Even up to the publication date for this video, Ubisoft is still charging $39.99 USD for the Year 1 Pass. So, for essentially $40, players got 7-day early access to all 3 Year 1 episodes, 8 totally new classified missions, instant specialization unlocks, some cosmetic items, 1 extra bounty per week, and 1 extra mission per day in the form of a challenging difficulty daily. Taking a look at all of this, what has been the return on investment for gamers that have spent $40 to get all of this to enhance their Division 2 gaming experience? Well, I've got to say that I have been entirely underwhelmed. At this point, I've had a chance to experience the first episode DLC via the PC PTS for TIDAL Update 5. 2 of the 8 classified missions, 4 of the specialization classes, for which we have had instant access to, a few of the backpack trophies, the cosmetic ward outfit, and emotes, and the extra bounties and daily mission. For me, the 2 biggest disappointments have been the classified missions and the upcoming Episode 1 DLC, of which I will not show you on screen, even though there are plenty of streams and content postings here on YouTube featuring the new content. The classified missions feel like nothing more than very short side missions with a little bit of lore thrown in through the use of collectible comms. The enemies are no more interesting or diverse than anything I can find in the open world, and if you really know what you're doing, you can literally blast through this content in a matter of minutes. It looks as though certain buildings have had their interiors repurposed with a little more than clutter, known door opening mechanics, and familiar NPCs using standard battlefield techniques. The only real purpose to complete these 2 classified missions are for the backpack collectibles, and after finishing both of them, I sat there asking myself, is that it? Really? Where's the rest? Moving on, and the new Episode 1 content felt like it was cut from the same mold as the classified missions. It was advertised that the enemies would use quote-unquote new and interesting techniques, but they, just like most other NPCs in this game, are entering battle with a gun and not much else. Now, not that I expected them to be able to fly, go invisible, or teleport around the room, but when I heard new and interesting, I thought they would do more than just take cover, yell insults in my general direction, and shoot their guns. You know what I mean? How could these new and highly touted episodes feature really nothing more than timed horde mode point defense mechanics? And all of this in an environment that was visually stunning. I mean, kudos to the art team, but how could this happen? Horde mode point defense? Really? Is this the best design concept the dev team could come up with? The missions felt like this: enter a chamber, explore the chamber, activate a terminal, defend the terminal, defeat the hordes as they spawn in, solve some puzzle mechanics to avoid a cataclysmic explosion, move on, rinse and repeat. You know what all this feels like to me? Lazy. Now, for the purposes of keeping this video civil, I'm not going to get into a rant about how the Episode 1 content was released on the PC PTS for TIDAL Update 5, or how gamers that spent hard-earned money to receive 7 days early access had to sit and watch helplessly as PC players who had not yet purchased the Year 1 Pass get to experience the content far in advance of those others who had paid for it. Now, you may disagree with me, but this was a marketing blunder. You should never make a consumer feel that they are being taken advantage of. In fact, if anything, you should always underpromise and overdeliver. But this didn't happen. Topping off this trickle of mediocre content is the fact that the Year 1 Pass missions seem to offer zero replayability. They are one and dones that offer no real challenge or reason to embrace the grind other than the exotic weaponry they award. Now, in contrast, at this point in the original Division game's release schedule, we already had Falcon Lost, Clear Sky, and the Underground DLC. And even if you didn't embrace the incursions, the Underground offered up endless hours of randomly generated mayhem. Now, I'm not trying to turn this into a Div 1 versus Div 2 discussion, but I keep looking for the Div 2 to really nail the needed formula to keep loot and shoot grinders engaged, and it just seems they keep missing the target. TIDAL Update 5 will bring skill builds into the forefront and offer up much needed diversity to the current DPS heavy meta, but in terms of replayability, the Div 2 is currently struggling and will need a strong turn of events to get it headed in the right direction from a good game to a great game. As always, I look forward to reading your feedback. How is the Div 2 Year 1 pass stacking up for you? In addition, if you can take the time to rate the video with either a thumbs up or down, it would be greatly appreciated. I have noticed that nearly 3/4 of the views on many of my videos are made by viewers that are not subbed to my channel, and I would greatly appreciate you taking the time to pound that sub button, as it really helps with the YouTube algorithms and video placements. Make sure to click on the bell icon to receive notifications for all content I post to YouTube. And you can follow me over on Twitter for the latest information, and look for me over on Twitch as well. Until my next video, this has been LtBuzzLitebeer, signing off.